Happy 4th of July, Connecticut and the United States. We're busy, and what we're working on is profoundly important. So give us a break and listen for a moment. On the screen is the 5G update for the Connecticut lawsuit. As you can see, we added CISA, Eric, and Governor Ned Lamont recently. And today we are adding Alma Rose Nunley at the Attorney General's Office of Connecticut. Why? I'll tell you why. The why is because of this transcript in front of me. Linda D'Alessio, right here. It's in this book. If you go to the top of page 4, the Attorney General of Connecticut says, and bear with me, it's vitally important. They're making their whole case that Connecticut doesn't use the GEM system. Attorney Nunley: yes, Your Honor. This case has been dismissed for 3 reasons. First, the claim is blah, blah, blah. The evidence submitted by the state shows that the state does not produce the cast vote record. The cast vote record is the sequence of votes as they come in and how the tally changes. This is the transcript, okay? How long is it? It's not that long. But what it says is Connecticut does not use GEMS, which is a lie. We have the contract. It interfaces with ESS. ESS, when Connecticut signed its contract, it was not a registered corporation. The contract's void. Okay? There's no way of looking at it other than that way. LHS programmed the chips. The chips were defective. Only 57 were challenged, and 37 of the 57 were defective. What's going on here? The election in 2020 was rigged. There's no question about it. Every town in Connecticut had Trump votes flipped to Biden. But through the education network, Trinity College hacked another state. Danbury hacked another state. Danbury hacked Pennsylvania. If you look at the list of who hacked who, they used the Connecticut school districts and the hub for the 4 GEM systems with no ink, which flips the votes, and all the other softwares. So, behind me, in this computer, I will show you. This is the appeal. This is the appeal. There's the transcript. Here's the Word document. Okay? So, for example, number 7, exhibit number 7, is the Linda D'Alessio transcript. Right here. When you look at the other exhibits, the Kavanewski transcript, the Clark transcript, the Blowy transcript, the Clark decision. When you look at all the little parts of the Connecticut fraud situation and the election fraud, which is huge, it's huge, okay? There's an article that came out yesterday. Let me just highlight it while we're on I'm trying to demonstrate what's going on here. So, like, these are the contracts signed by Connecticut, where each contract describes how there's an interface between Dominion Software, between AccuVote, between all these companies which enable hacking through the internet, and the Attorney General saying it's not connected to the internet. Excuse me. Every contract in the entire state shows that they're connected, and the audits maintain that GEMS is connected. The audits are falsified by UConn. The schools in Connecticut hacked America. Oh yeah. So when you look at this article, catastrophic loss of control in New York. It's funny, when you look at the article, it lists 7 things, which I want to go to. Here we go. Number 1, false voters were introduced to the voter rolls. That's what Connecticut did. They created 700,000 false identities through the DMV for undocumented people. Then what did they do? The records belonging to the false voters were covertly tagged in an algorithm. Oh, really? That's where the algorithm plays in. And any blah, blah, blah. Okay. Absentee ballots were requested by the false registrants. Well, that's not true. In Connecticut, that's in New York. In Connecticut, everyone got an absentee ballot. Now, my name wasn't on it, and I qualified. I gave 57,962 signatures to get on the ballot, and 12 other candidates did the same thing. They were blocked. Remarkably, the state put people who didn't qualify on the ballot. Amazing. Fantastic. So here we go. Number 4, ballots and ballot envelopes were gathered in a central collection point. Yes, we have 4. Fraudulently generated ballots were cast in fraudulently obtained ballot envelopes. Yes, we have them. How are people in jail voting in person? Maximum security prison jail. False voter records were updated to reflect false votes. Correct. So the same thing that happened in New York happened in Connecticut, but on a larger scale, because if you look at the Arizona election, they don't verify signatures. Well, they verify signatures, excuse me. Connecticut does not, inviting fraud. So that's what Jim Himes and all the Connecticut Congress people are enforcing. Same-day registration, the Voter Fraud Act. You can go down the different parts, but false voter records were manipulated to disguise their purpose and history. So there is a similar situation brewing in Connecticut as New York. New York has 2,000 volunteers doing the work, and Connecticut has one guy, and one lady. So what I'm saying is, the judge in this case, in the Linda D'Alessio case, granted sovereign immunity to the people who violated the election law, just like Judge Clark, which is treason. So this judge granted sovereign immunity to Scott Bates, the lawyer for the state of Connecticut Secretary of State, while he is lying in his testimony, perjury, which violates his immunity. So thank God that Linda did this work in the past, because she's been trying to get the cast vote record. I subpoenaed the cast vote record in the federal lawsuit. So in the federal lawsuit, now this is the transcript that is so important, but when you look at motion to take leave, this is the federal case. These are the players being added. We're up to like 42 defendants now. But we started with Blumenthal, PURA, the Siting Council, because we focused on multiple 5G elements. But to use 5G to falsify a federal election, that's their goal. Keep control. But what they did was they put children at risk to do that. They are giving them autism. The radiation rates are over the top, and Connecticut says, oh, radiation doesn't cause radiation poisoning. Sleep next to the router and the kids become autistic. Sleep next to the router, the kids become infertile. This is just a cost, a price they're willing to pay to keep control of the elections so they can hack. Well, right now we're figuring out where it went after it left Connecticut and came back from Spain, because the Cytel server in Germany was stolen, and Cytel was used in 20 New England states. So not only did Connecticut collect the votes, change the votes, they sent them to foreign countries, and they came back with completely falsified information. So that's where we're going. We're adding the Attorney General to the 5G lawsuit based on this transcript. Lies that GEMS is not connected to the internet and that Connecticut didn't use GEMS, when in fact this is how it works. Each school in each town, say Norwalk has 5 schools that take votes, one will be the centralized hub. Then UConn gathers everything from all centralized hubs in each town. So Westport, for example, has its own GEMS terminal. Okay? So that's a hub connecting Fairfield County's votes, giving them to UConn. So UConn can falsify the audit after the votes are changed using knowing. So all these systems are in play, and anyone can hack any election with a simple thumb drive. Put this thumb drive in any computer, any tabulator in the system, and you can flip the votes from Trump to Biden. And that's exactly what they did. Nationwide. We've got all the data. It's so enormous it's hard to process. Thank you for listening. It's vitally important that you follow from here on in, because we hope to put these people in jail. And what they're doing with the judges is criminal. There are at least 8 judges implicated in this fraud. Thank you. Have a great day.